Hey everyone, 99% of you watching aren't subscribed. Let's change that. Hit that subscribe button, and at 1,000 subscribers, we'll drop special stories just for you.
No one noticed her when she boarded the Starliner Meridian. That was not luck. That was design. The docking ring of Helios Gate shimmered with commerce and politics, diplomatic entourages wrapped in metallic silks, corporate envoys trailed by hovering data scribes, mercenaries in civilian clothes pretending not to be armed. Leora's sun moved through them like soft rain through light. Average height, unremarkable boots, hair tied back without style. She carried a canvas travel bag scuffed at the corners, the kind issued free on agricultural worlds. Her boarding pass was physical paper. That alone made people look past her. The scanners swept over her without pause. Her records were flawless. Textile archivist. Research clearance Tier 3. Destination Caldrus Prime. Purpose of travel. Restoration contract. The attendant barely glanced up. Cabin 42. Middeck. Enjoy your voyage. Leora smiled politely. Thank you. Her voice was warm, almost shy. The tiger slept beneath her sleeve. The Meridian was a long-arc civilian cruiser, elegant but aging, built during a time when aesthetics mattered as much as efficiency. Its corridors curved gently, ceilings inlaid with artificial constellations that shifted according to local star charts. The ship hummed with layered vibrations, engine harmonics beneath life support cycles beneath distant footfalls. Leora counted those vibrations instinctively, not because she was nervous, because she had trained herself to listen. Cabin 42 was small but clean. A narrow bed folded from the wall. A recessed desk. A viewport no larger than a dinner plate framing the docking ring outside. She placed her bag down carefully. Inside were 3 changes of clothes, a worn notebook, and a data slate that contained nothing more suspicious than scanned embroidery patterns from pre-collapse colonies. She locked the door. Only then did she slide off her jacket. The tattoo began at the crest of her shoulder, a curve of black ink shaped like a stripe caught mid-motion. It wound down her arm in layered bands, negative space forming muscle and tension. Near her forearm, the tiger's face emerged in breathtaking detail. Even dormant, it looked alive. Not stylized. Not decorative. Predatory. She flexed her fingers once. The stripes did not move.
Good.
She pulled her sleeve back down. The passenger manifest told its own story. Deck 1 housed dignitaries and private security teams. Deck 2 carried merchants and mid-tier officials. Deck 3, her deck, was researchers, minor bureaucrats, tourists. And somewhere above her, on Deck 1, was General Kale Ryden, the architect of the tri-system ceasefire. The man half the galaxy called Savior and the other half called Butcher. Leora did not hate him. She did not admire him. She had studied him. When the Orion Dominion fell, power fractured across human space. Warlords rose. Defense grids failed. Old enemies tested borders. Ryden had stitched together peace with strategic intimidation and surgical violence. He believed in deterrence. So had the Dominion. That irony had not escaped her. She spent the first afternoon in the observation corridor. The transparent hull panels stretched overhead, revealing the black vastness beyond Helios Gate. Cargo ships detached like silver insects. Civilian transports flared engines and drifted into the transit lanes. She sat on a low bench, notebook open, sketching. To anyone passing, she was capturing star patterns. In truth, she was mapping security routes. How often the corridor cameras recalibrated. Which guards walked alone. Which ones talked too much. A child stopped beside her. "Is that a dragon?" he asked, pointing at her sketch. She turned the notebook slightly. The drawing resembled flowing curves, almost floral.
It's a story, she said.
What kind? One about something that pretends to sleep. The boy grinned, satisfied with an answer that meant nothing and everything. His mother apologized and led him away. Leora watched them go, something fragile flickering behind her calm expression. She did not dislike children. She disliked what waited in deep space for unprotected civilizations. Departure thrusters engaged with a distant, bone-deep tremor. The Meridian detached from Helios Gate. A collective hush fell over the observation corridor as the station drifted away and the ship angled toward the jump corridor, a controlled slipstream between systems. Stars elongated, then folded. The jump was smooth, civilian grade. No turbulence. No warning. And yet, as the ship entered folded space, Leora's skin prickled. Her hand drifted unconsciously to her left forearm. Beneath the fabric, the tiger felt warmer. Not glowing, not moving, but aware. She closed her eyes. It had been 7 years since activation protocols were last tested. 7 years since hidden satellites whispered across entangled channels, waiting for a signal that never came. She had promised herself she would never send it, because sending it meant the Dominion was no longer hiding. And hiding had kept her alive. Dinner service was interrupted by a power fluctuation. Minor. Brief. Most passengers barely noticed. Leora did. The lights dimmed for half a second too long. The engine hum stuttered. And in that flicker of silence, her tattoo pulsed. Once. A flash of heat sharp enough to steal her breath. She gripped the edge of the dining table. Across the room, no one reacted. No alarm sounded. But somewhere in the layered architecture of the ship, something had brushed against their systems. A probe. A test. She exhaled slowly. So soon? She returned to cabin 42 and sealed the door behind her. This time, when she rolled up her sleeve, the tiger's eyes were faintly luminous. Not bright enough to cast light, bright enough to confirm. Someone out there had scanned the Meridian with military precision. Not pirates yet. Hunters. And they were not looking for cargo. They were looking for General Raiden. Or her. Leora sat on the edge of the narrow bed. Her reflection in the viewport looked small against the folded space vortex outside. She had spent years mastering invisibility. Years softening her posture. Lowering her voice. Shrinking her presence. Because the galaxy did not fear a harmless girl in cabin 42. It feared what happened when the tiger woke. She pulled her sleeve down again, closed her eyes, and waited for the next move. Somewhere in the void beyond the jump corridor, 3 attack skiffs adjusted their trajectory and began to close the distance. The girl in cabin 42 did not sleep that night. Neither did the tiger. The attack came 17 minutes after the Meridian exited fold space. No warning beacon. No negotiation window. Just a violent tremor that rattled the middecks as magnetic clamps slammed into the hull. Passengers screamed. Artificial gravity flickered, surged, stabilized. Then came the voice. Attention, Meridian. You are boarded. Cooperate, and casualties will remain minimal. Surrender General Kale Raiden. The transmission carried no distortion. No theatrical menace. Professional. Leora stood in cabin 42, already awake. Her bag was packed. Her boots were on. She closed her eyes and listened. Footsteps in the corridor. Panicked civilians running. Then heavier steps, disciplined, armored. The pirates were not raiders from the fringe. These were contracted extraction specialists. Someone had paid well. She rolled up her sleeve. The tiger's stripes shimmered faintly, as if stirred by a distant breeze no one else could feel. Not yet, she whispered. The ink cooled slightly. Deck 1 fell first. Security teams attempted to lock down the lift shafts, but precision charges melted access panels. Pulse drones flooded corridors, sleek, spherical machines projecting concussive fields that disabled resistance without puncturing the hull. Efficient. Minimize damage. Maximize leverage. General Raiden's private guard lasted exactly 2 minutes. Leora stepped into the corridor as civilians were ordered to kneel. A pirate leveled a rifle at her chest. Down. She obeyed instantly, lowering herself among trembling passengers. Harmless. Invisible. The pirate's visor flickered as he scanned IDs. When it passed over her, the display read, Leora Sun, Textile Archivist. No threat flag.
He moved on.
Her heart remained steady. But beneath her sleeve, heat gathered. They dragged Raiden through the mid-deck junction. His hands were bound in magnetic cuffs. Blood traced his temple, where someone had struck him. He looked furious, not afraid. "Do you know what this will trigger?" he demanded of the armored figure holding him. "Yes," the pirate leader replied calmly. "A very large payment." Passengers were forced against the walls as the procession moved past. For a moment, Raiden's eyes met Leora's. He saw nothing remarkable, just another civilian caught in the storm. He looked away. The pirate leader raised a wrist console. "Prepare for extraction." That was the moment. Not because Raiden deserved saving. Not because the meridian mattered strategically, but because the pattern was wrong. The Dominion's old predictive models, encoded deep within her training, recognized escalation curves. If Raiden vanished, fragile systems would fracture again. Border skirmishes would ignite. And beyond those borders, something older was already testing weaknesses. The tiger burned. Leora rose slowly to her feet. "Sir," she said softly to the nearest pirate. He turned, annoyed. "What?" The corridor lights flickered. Just once. Then held steady. "I think," she said gently, "you've miscalculated." He stepped toward her, rifle lifting. And the tattoo moved. It began as a ripple. Black stripes sliding beneath her skin as though alive. Gold deepening into molten amber. The pirate froze. "What the?" The tiger's eye opened. Not metaphorically. The inked iris dilated, contracting around a sliver of impossible light. Across the ship, every unsecured system blinked. Hidden frequencies activated, ones no civilian database contained. In the emptiness between mapped trade routes, something answered. Ancient satellites powered on. Silent shipyards warmed cold reactors. Entangled relays, scattered through asteroid fields and rogue moons, synchronized in perfect alignment. The Dominion had not died. It had gone dormant, and its awakening signal was written in living ink. The pirate leader's console erupted with cascading alerts. Unknown network intrusion. Signal origin internal. Quantum handshake detected. His voice broke. The handshake did not request access. It asserted authority. On his visor, a symbol replaced all telemetry. A tiger mid-leap, claws extended. "Impossible," he breathed. The Orion Dominion was purged. Leora stepped forward. Around her, passengers stared in stunned silence as golden light traced the contours of her arm, then her collarbone. "The Dominion," she said quietly, "was never infrastructure." The pirate fired. The pulse round struck her chest and dissolved against a shimmering field that flared outward from the tattoo. Gasps echoed down the corridor. She did not flinch, because the shield was not generated by her body. It was projected from orbit. 3 defense platforms, long catalogued as debris, had repositioned in perfect triangulation around the meridian. The pirate skiff's engines sputtered. Weapons powered down. Their AI cores were overridden by codes older than their manufacturers. "Stand down," the leader barked into comms. No response. He tried again. Static. Leora's voice softened. "You're not independent contractors," she said. "You're funded by a core faction that believes deterrence died with the Dominion." His silence confirmed it. The tiger's stripes crawled higher along her neck, illuminating her face in gold. "You were sent to test the waters," she continued, "to see if anyone would answer." Behind her, Raiden stared, comprehension dawning slowly. "You're one of them," he said hoarsely. She looked at him for the first time. "I am what remains." The pirate leader dropped his weapon. Around him, his crew's armor powered down one by one. Magnetic clamps released from the hull as external forces disengaged them with surgical precision. In deep space, stealth frigates decloaked. Sleek. Unmarked. Bearing the same tiger insignia. They did not fire. They simply existed, an undeniable presence. The message was clear. The predator was awake. Leora approached the leader. Up close, she seemed almost fragile. "You could have killed us," he said quietly. "Yes." "Why didn't you?" The tiger's glow softened slightly. "Because fear maintains order," she replied. but memory maintains survival. She flexed her fingers. The heat receded a fraction. Far beyond the meridian, dormant arsenals returned to standby, not sleeping, not fully active, waiting. For 7 years she had carried silence beneath her skin. Now the galaxy carried awareness. The Dominion had a pulse again, and it beat inside the woman everyone had dismissed as harmless. The silence after surrender was heavier than battle. Pirates knelt in powerless armor. Passengers pressed against corridor walls, unsure whether to run or bow. The golden light beneath Leora's skin pulsed slowly now, no longer flaring, but steady, controlled. Across the meridian, systems rebooted under new authority. Not the ship's. Hers. General Ryden stood 2 meters away, magnetic cuffs still binding his wrists. He did not ask to be freed. He studied her the way soldiers study unexploded ordnance. Carefully. "You're controlling assets outside the ship," he said at last. "Yes." "How many?" She tilted her head slightly, as if listening to something distant. "In this sector?" "Enough." The pirate leader tried to rise. Gravity shifted. Not violently, just enough to press him back to his knees. Leora didn't look at him. She was no longer focused on the corridor. She was focused on the dark. Far beyond civilian sensor range, the first Dominion frigate adjusted its orientation. Its hull was matte obsidian, edges angular and predatory. No running lights. No broadcast signature. It had drifted for 7 years inside a debris cloud catalogued as nothing more than shattered mining equipment. Now, its core hummed. Data streamed from Leora's tattoo through quantum-entangled relays, faster than light, bypassing conventional communication nets entirely. The Tiger was not a transmitter. It was a sovereign credential. Only one living body could issue that command chain. Her body. "Status of boarding skiffs?" she asked softly. Her voice did not echo through the corridor. It echoed through fleets. A response came, not audible, but translated through the neural interface braided into the ink. "Skiff 1, propulsion disabled. Skiff 2, weapons offline. Skiff 3, attempting cold start bypass." Leora's eyes flicked upward slightly. "Denied." In space, Skiff 3's reactor shut down with mechanical obedience. No explosion. No drama. Just stillness. The pirate leader's visor flickered again, now displaying a countdown he did not initiate. Containment protocols. He looked up at her. "You're not just activating relics," he said. "You're commanding them." "Yes." "That means the rumors were true." "Which ones?" "That the Dominion embedded its command lattice into a bloodline." A faint smile touched her mouth. "Not a bloodline," she corrected. "A responsibility." Security officers, emboldened by the sudden reversal, began moving to secure the pirates. They hesitated when they reached Leora. She stood at the center of it all, golden light tracing her silhouette like a living constellation. "Ma'am," one officer ventured. "Are we clear?" She considered the question. Within her mind, threat projections shifted and recalibrated. The immediate danger was neutralized. But something else had stirred. When the Dominion network activated, it had not only sent commands. It had sent a pulse. And in the outer dark, something ancient had felt it. "We are clear," she said finally. "For now." General Ryden stepped forward as an officer unlocked his cuffs. "Walk with me," he said. It was not an order. It was a request. She allowed it. They moved to the observation corridor, now nearly empty. Stars burned cold beyond the transparent hull. In the distance, 3 pirate skiffs hung immobilized like insects trapped in amber. Beyond them, barely visible, sleek shadows held position. Dominion warships. Ryden folded his hands behind his back. "I built peace on the assumption that no ultimate deterrent remained," he said quietly. "Every faction believed the board was level." "It never was," she replied. "You hid." "Yes." "Why reveal yourself now?" She did not answer immediately. Instead, she rolled her sleeve fully upward. The Tiger now extended beyond her arm, faint lines of gold reaching across her shoulder and collarbone. Its eyes were brighter than before, not blazing, but aware. Because someone funded this attack, she said. And they believed the Dominion myth was dead enough to test. Raiden's jaw tightened. They won't stop.
No.
Then you've just destabilized every political alliance in the core. She met his gaze. I've stabilized something far older. At the edge of charted space, a sensor buoy drifted quietly near a dead star. It had been placed there centuries ago, not by humans. When the Dominion pulse rippled outward, it brushed against the buoy's ancient architecture. The buoy awakened and transmitted farther into the dark than any human probe had ever traveled. Back aboard the Meridian, the pirates were escorted away. Passengers began whispering, recording, uploading. Already, fragments of the Tiger insignia were spreading across civilian networks. Unconfirmed reports of Dominion vessels. Speculation. Conspiracy threads reigniting. Leora felt it like static along her nerves. Visibility. The thing she had avoided for 7 years. You understand what happens next, Raiden said. Yes. You'll be called Tyrant. Probably. Or Savior.
She almost laughed.
That depends on who is planning to start a war. He studied her profile against the stars. You could take control, he said. With those ships, you could dictate terms to every major system. The Tiger's stripes shifted subtly, as if reacting to the suggestion. I don't want control, she said. Then what do you want? Her gaze moved past the immobilized skiffs, past the protective frigates, into the black beyond. Readiness. As if summoned by the word, a faint distortion shimmered at the edge of long-range sensors. Not a ship, not debris. A gravitational anomaly shaped like something that did not obey natural geometry. It vanished as quickly as it appeared. Raiden did not see it, but Leora did. And so did the Dominion network. Threat probability recalculated. Higher than projected. The Tiger's glow intensified slightly, its claws flexing in silent ink. Raiden followed her stare. What is it? She lowered her sleeve halfway, dimming the light but not extinguishing it. The reason the Dominion was built, she said. The corridor lights flickered once more, not from damage. From recalibration. Because across dozens of hidden platforms and silent fleets, weapons aligned toward the outer dark. Not in aggression. In warning. The pirates had been a test. But not the only one. The galaxy had just been reminded that a predator still guarded its borders. What it did not yet know was that something in the abyss had started circling back. And this time, when the Tiger roared, it would not be to frighten pirates. It would be to challenge whatever believed humanity had grown soft in its long sleep. By the time the Meridian resumed course, the galaxy already knew. Civilian feeds flooded with blurred recordings of golden light in a mid-deck corridor. Frame-by-frame analyses of the Tiger insignia. Amateur astronomers posting anomalous readings, unregistered vessels appearing and vanishing near the trade lanes. The official response from the Core Council was cautious. Unverified military relic activity. No confirmed Dominion resurgence. No confirmed resurgence. Leora stood in the observation corridor, watching stars stretch into thin white lines as the ship prepared for another fold jump. Behind her, the Dominion fleet maintained silent formation. Unmarked. Unregistered. Unignorable. General Raiden joined her again, this time without guards. You've destabilized 3 political blocks in under 12 hours, he said, not unkindly. I prevented a war, she replied. You postponed one. Perhaps. He studied the faint glow beneath her sleeve. You felt something out there, he said quietly, when the network came online. She did not ask how he knew. Soldiers recognized the expression of someone who had seen a battlefield no one else could. Yes. What was it? Leora extended her left arm slowly. The Tiger revealed itself fully now, no longer pretending to be simple ink. Its body wrapped around her shoulder, across her collarbone, down toward her heart. The stripes shifted subtly, mapping invisible data streams. Before the Dominion united the systems, she said, outer colonies vanished. Raiden's expression tightened. Pirates.
No.
She met his gaze. Entire biospheres stripped. Not bombed. Not harvested. Consumed. He held her stare, waiting for irony. None came. The Dominion built its defense lattice in response, she continued. Publicly, it was to deter human aggression. Privately, it was to monitor the void. And you think what you felt was an answer. On the far edge of charted space, gravitational sensors spiked again. Dominion relays caught the disturbance this time, triangulating its source. A region of darkness where starlight bent unnaturally inward. Mass without visible matter. Motion without propulsion. The data streamed through entangled channels, crossing impossible distances in less than a heartbeat. Leora gasped softly as the information struck her consciousness. The tiger's eyes flared. Not gold now.
White.
Raiden stepped forward. What is it? It's closer than the last projections. How close? She swallowed. 3 months at current velocity. To what? She looked back at the stars. To everything. The Core Council convened an emergency session within hours of Dominion vessels appearing on long-range military scans. Encrypted invitations were sent. One of them, against tradition and pride, was addressed to her. Leora did not attend in person. Instead, a projection formed in the center of the council chamber, light bending around a silhouette marked by glowing stripes. Gasps rippled through the assembly. A counselor leaned forward. Identify yourself. I am Leora's son, she said calmly. Last command heir of the Orion Dominion. Murmurs. Anger. Disbelief. The Dominion forfeited its authority when it collapsed. Another counselor snapped. The Dominion relinquished visibility, she corrected. Not function. You activated military assets without sovereign approval. Yes. You threaten the balance of power. No, she said quietly. I revealed its fragility. Silence fell. She extended her arm within the projection. The tiger moved, its stripes rearranging into a star map. A region at the galaxy's edge pulsed crimson. This is why, she said. The counselors stared as sensor data layered over the map. Gravitational anomalies, energy signatures, void distortions that no known physics model could explain. What are we looking at? Someone whispered. An extinction event, Leora replied. A transmission interrupted the session. Unscheduled. Untraceable. Origin unknown. The chamber lights dimmed as the signal forced itself onto every display. At first, there was only static. Then, movement. A star field distorted. A shape sliding across it. Vast and wrong. Not mechanical. Not biological. Something between. Where it passed, light dimmed. A whisper threaded through the audio channel, too low for language, too structured for noise. Council members recoiled. Raiden, watching from the meridian, felt the hairs rise along his arms. The transmission cut abruptly. For several heartbeats, no one spoke. Leora's projection remained steady. That, she said, is what the Dominion was built to fight. One counselor's voice trembled. You're certain? Yes. And your fleet can stop it? The tiger's glow softened slightly. Not alone. When the session ended, panic spread faster than propaganda could contain it. Military leaders demanded coordination protocols. Scientists demanded access to Dominion archives. Religious sects declared omens fulfilled. Across civilian networks, a single image went viral. A harmless-looking woman in a ship corridor, golden tiger blazing across her skin. The caption varied. The Last Empress. The Hidden Guardian. The Warning. Leora shut the feeds off. Titles meant nothing against what was coming. Night cycles settled over the meridian. Most passengers slept uneasily. Leora remained at the viewport. Behind the ship, Dominion warships formed a widening perimeter, repositioning across strategic systems. Old shipyards activated fully now, forging hulls long designed but never constructed. Defense grids recalibrated to face outward, not inward. For the first time since its fall, the Orion Dominion operated in the open. Raiden joined her one final time. They're calling you the most powerful individual in human space, he said. She watched a distant star flicker. I'm not, she replied. You command a hidden armada. I carry a signal, she corrected. The power was always there. He considered that. Will you lead the defense? She thought of Cabin 42, of the little boy who had asked about dragons, of 7 years spent pretending to be small. I won't rule, she said softly, but I will stand in front. The tiger's claws extended across her shoulder, settling as if ready. Beyond the viewport, space seemed darker than before. Not empty. Watching. Somewhere in that abyss, something vast adjusted its course toward the light of inhabited stars. And for the first time in centuries, that light had teeth. Leora pulled her sleeve back just enough for the tiger's eyes to remain visible. Let the galaxy argue politics. Let them debate authority. When the void arrived, it would not negotiate. She looked harmless, until her tiger tattoo told the galaxy the truth. And now, the truth was awake.